All right, guys, what's going on? It's your boy Tyler Gates, aka THLI 205, back at you with another one. Um, last video, y'all were on my head about whatever I said. I'm still confused with what I said, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter right now. I have another guest, and this is special for me because it's somebody, um, who knows Atlanta sports, not just me. It's definitely a special one for me. I'm just go ahead and introduce yourself and take it away.
Hey y'all, my name is Lauren. I also go by Quarters with Porter on social media, and I make Atlanta sports content. So all the Atlanta teams, kind of not that much Atlanta United, but we get in there. We get in there.
Hey, I'm not really in tune with them yet, but I'm
Yeah.
getting there. I'm getting there. So just I'm really curious once again on how you fell in love with sports, your journey to it, whether you fell in love with it in college or was it something in high school that made you say, I can talk about this.
hmm it all started with my dad. He has three daughters, and he didn't get his boy till like way later on. So he really like introduced like sports to us because not that sports are for guys, but mostly guys do enjoy sports. So like he kind of like would take us to games. Like I remember in elementary school they would give out like the free Hawks tickets if you read a certain amount of books. And so like I would always go to like the Hawks games, and I didn't even go to a Falcons game until I was like in college, but I always loved all of the Atlanta teams and I would like follow them and stuff. And then when I got into high school, that's when I started like realizing I could make my love for sports a career. So that's when I became like an aspiring sports journalist. And so like throughout high school, I did like a bunch of like news stuff. I would do stuff with the sports teams, like make newspaper articles about sports and stuff. And I went to McEachern, so like we're a pretty big sports school, so it was like really cool. Yeah. To like, know all of those people and stuff. So yeah, that even made me love sports even more, just going to such a big sports high school. Because, sports in Georgia is just a big deal in general. So, like, going to school that we actually win, it was really fun to, like, experience all of that. And it made me love sports even more. So, when I got to college, Georgia State, I really wanted to go to UGA, but that's another story for a different day. So, I ended up at Georgia State, and I really didn't want to go there because it's not like a sports school.
Yeah.
They're not P5. Like it's not that they're trash, but it's just not a sports school. People don't go to the games. Like I wanted to go to a school that has like a really big sports presence. But I realized being at Georgia State was actually kind of perfect for me because I'm right smack dab in the middle of the city. So it made it easy for me to like I got a job at State Farm Arena watching the Hawks play, and like I befriended people at Georgia Tech, so I would go to like the Georgia Tech games. I would go to UGA games. Like I still got to live like the sports college life without actually having to go to schools. And yeah, that's when I was like sophomore year, or no, I think junior year of college is when Quarters Reporter was born. Because I realized if I'm gonna be a sports broadcaster, I kind of got to start off with my own brand first, like so people can know like what I'm about. So yeah, I started making it all on Twitter, really. I would just tweet about like my frustrations with the Hawks, and then it kind of started like going up. And I was like, wait, people think this is funny. Like, I'm being dead for real, but people think this is funny. So I was like, and that's really just like once I built a following on there of people just literally wanting to hear me talk about my teams, I was like, I might as well turn this into video form. So then I started making YouTube videos, started going to the games, blogging the games. Then I started taking TikTok seriously about like a year ago, and everything has just like blown up since then.
Well, I definitely can say that I've since you started, I've definitely been following you for a minute, and the work you've been doing. And I consider myself a diehard Atlanta fan. I mean,
Mhm.
I rep everything. 28-3. It's that bad.
Yeah.
It's that bad. Like
Mhm.
if your friends still talking about that, and you got to try
Yeah.
to defend it, it's bad. But I get a lot of intel from you that I didn't know. I'm like, oh, really?
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes.
So I think we can both answer this question. I mean, what's been the biggest breakthrough and like challenges being an Atlanta sports fan in general? You know,
Yeah, I would definitely say the very stereotypical we don't really win. I know the Braves won that championship in 2021. And like people always mention that, and like, yes, that is like an Atlanta championship, but I feel like for the culture of the city and for just, it's a lot of black people here. A lot of black people don't watch baseball.
I
So
agree.
us winning that championship was a big deal for the city, and them being good is like a big deal for the city. I like the Braves. I go to Braves games all the time, but it's like I feel like for the culture of Atlanta, us winning an NBA or NFL championship would mean way more to people. So it's like the fact that we always make it so close, and then there's like a huge, there's either an injury, 28-3, like stuff like that happening. It's like there's just always one big thing that keeps the teams from like prospering to the next level. It's like we always get so close, but then boom, disappointment. Even like this past season with the Falcons, we were 6-3. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, like we're finally going to the playoffs. Like this is our time to shine. No one was expecting a Super Bowl or anything crazy, but we
Right.
just wanted the bare minimum, just the playoffs. We just nobody even cared if we made won a game in the playoffs. We're like, let's just make it. We ain't been there in what 6 years.
Man.
The most random inconvenience once again. Kirk Cousins gets hurt, doesn't throw a touchdown for 5 weeks, nothing but interceptions. Like it's just always random pain and trauma being an Atlanta sports fan. Even with the Braves, now they haven't done anything since they won that championship. They can't stand the playoffs. Everybody getting hurt. Players, like it's just crazy. It's always something. That's being an Atlanta sports fan. It's just always something.
It's just it's painful, you know. I don't want to hear Nick fans. I don't want to hear Giants fans and Jets fans. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Y'all
feel like we have it the worst,
made
honestly, because it's like one thing to go into a season knowing your team is going to be bad. Like the Saints, for example, like they should not be going into this season expecting anything over 6 wins. But for us, I feel like every single year, there's like all this hype, so much potential. Like there's like OMG, like especially last season, like there was so much hype around the team to the point where season tickets sold out for the first time in 20 years. Like
yes.
that's insane. So it's like for us to actually live up to that potential, but see it all start crashing down, it's just that's the life.
It
That's the
makes no
pain.
sense. It literally makes no sense. Like for example, when we went to the conference finals in 2021, if Trey Young never would have got hurt, we would have beat the Bucks. Definitely would
I
have
mean,
beat the Suns. You ain't
that's
telling
what
me.
I've been trying to say.
I've been telling people, I'm like, and then I love the Braves, loving the depth, Ozzy Albies. I get it, I get
Hmm.
it. We beat a good Astros team, and then when I look at it years
Hmm.
later, I'm like, yo, we beat one of the greatest teams ever. No, hold on, wait a minute, like the time out, they still had everybody,
Yes.
so it's just, and then like me and my mom, we joke about this all the
Mhm.
time. We think it was the curse put on us by the old lady when we tore that church down right beside the Georgia
Oh
Dome
yeah.
to build the stadium. She
Hmm.
put that curse on us, and ever since then, I don't know what happened.
Yep.
And
They have
and,
not had a winning season.
and I've been telling people, I'm like, one game can destroy your franchise. Don't think it can't,
Oh yeah.
because look at us. After that game, it's just been downhill, downhill.
And it's like even when there's moments of like, oh my gosh, we might do something, it's gonna come back crashing down. So that's why I'm like so excited for this season because all the hype is back, all the potential's back. They had a good draft for the first time since I don't even remember. So it's like it looks like things are working in our favor, but you can never smile too long because eventually some BS always ends up happening. So I'm just hoping for the best, but we gonna see. I'm excited for football for sure.
Right. Like I was scared. See, that's one thing too. You gotta always take your Tylenol and your medicine, especially before
Yes.
Sunday. 'Cause I'm telling you, from
For
that
sure.
opening kickoff, no man. It,
Hmm.
it it just does something that I don't know. And then when you get in the fourth quarter, if the game is close, don't let the game be close. Please.
Yeah.
Please don't let the game be close. We
I
had to
know.
do this with Matt Ryan for years. Okay,
Uh-huh.
game gets close. You know, he was a good quarterback. He led us to the Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong, but just the agonizing pain of having to see him throw interceptions, and then he looks up at the scoreboard, and then always does this to his. Like, what are you doing? Go to the sideline, bro. Like what, man?
Yeah, that was a rough watch for sure. Like, I don't know what happened. And
I,
I hate it so much too because it's like Matt Ryan, I feel like he doesn't get the like respect he deserves from like the fan base or even like analysts or anything just because of that one Super Bowl loss. Because that whole regular season was insane. That MVP
wait,
season, the
wait.
fact that Falcons even made it to the Super Bowl is insane. So it's like I feel like if he, even if he would have just lost in a respectful way, it
Yeah,
wouldn't be like bad. But the fact that he lost in the way that he lost and just the aura of the team just went down so bad because that was so unbelievable. Like, no way that really just happened that y'all just fumbled it that hard. Seen fumbles, but that is a generational fumble. So it's just like
it was.
the whole
It
team lost aura. He
was
lost
beautiful.
aura.
It was so beautiful. I mean, at halftime, literally, the city was outside. I mean, I'm like, okay,
Literally.
I can remember. I'm planning. I'm like, I'm not going to school next week. Don't.
Mm-hmm.
I am staying home. I'm wearing all my Falcons gear. And then they come up for the third quarter. I'm like, okay, all we gotta do is run the ball. You know, just keep running the clock down.
You know,
Strip fumble. I said, oh no. I literally said, "Oh no! Don't tell me this is about to happen." And then when he started marching down the field, I'm like, "Yo! This looks a little bit too. I don't know
yeah.
about this in the NFL. I don't know about this one. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they always do it to us. And then even with the Atlanta Dream, they're actually good this year. I can
Yeah.
see them going to the WNBA Finals. I said in my video, I said last year when we signed Kirk Cousins, we're gonna lose in the NFC Championship. I said that.
Mm-hmm.
Now we didn't make the playoffs, but I feel like this year Michael Penix got something to prove. If he plays anywhere towards what his potential is, I don't see why he can't be in the MVP conversation. I mean,
Yeah.
I I think he's better than at least 25% of the league in terms of NFL
Oh, for
quarterback.
sure.
Like
That's why I'm excited to see a full season from him. Because people try to like his stat line in those 3 games is not the best. But if you're a Falcons fan, you know why. Because we
right,
watched the games. So we could see like those 3 interceptions, really none of them should have been interceptions. Like his very first interception being that Kyle Pitts just tripped over his feet and like that was so ridiculous. So it's like being a Falcons fan, we know why like he shouldn't have had 3 interceptions.
he
But
shouldn't.
it's like it looked bad from the outside looking in if you're not watching those games because you're like your quarterback had 3 interceptions and he only played 3 games. Like you know how many is he gonna have playing a full season? But it's just like those were just literal random inconvenience fumbles. Like it was insane. But I feel like if anything, those 3 games showed me the potential because I went to Washington to
Okay,
go to that Commanders game and I he was so like just poised and like ready and he had a great game that day. So it was like for that to only be his second game ever and he almost we would have won if we didn't have all them clock management problems. So it's like that game loss wasn't even on him. He had an amazing game. And it's like he has like I think like people love to talk about his age, but I think his age makes him even better to be like a starting quarterback in this league. I feel like he's very mature and like I could tell that the players around him as well feel like comfortable with him. They were playing those games and he wasn't even in practice playing with them. He's playing
right.
with second and third string. So for him to come in like that, practice with them guys for a week and he's able to perform like that, that's why I'm like, give him a whole off season with these guys. They already building connections, like they already vibe well together. I feel like everybody has the same vibe. Raheem Morris, I know a lot of people talk bad about him, but it's like I really like what he brings to the team culture wise because when we had Arthur Smith, we didn't see these guys smiling. We didn't see these guys having fun in the locker room. Like they look pissed and miserable all the time. And when you have that kind of dynamic in your locker room and you're playing for a coach that you don't want to play for, you can tell on the field. They don't have like true passion for what they're doing. But it's like with Raheem Morris, there's like passion from everybody, from Raheem, even Arthur Blank smiling, like Terry Fontenot giggling on the sidelines, like when we were winning. So it's like if we can keep up that same culture, Raheem get together. That was his first year being a head coach again, so it's like I give him grace. This year, we don't have time for those like rookie mistakes though. So it's
Yeah,
like
no, it's we will,
gotta
like
get
you said,
gotta get right.
we got to start picking it up because I'm telling you, I I you know, it's difficult for me to say, especially when it comes to
Mhm.
quarterbacks. You know, starting back in 2021, let's start there. You know,
Mhm.
Justin Fields was on the board.
Yeah.
I feel like we wanted Trey Lance. Thank God we didn't take Trey Lance. And then the day before, you know, the reports came out. The Falcons went to North Dakota State for another private workout. I said no. I
Mhm.
haven't seen him play enough games. And then on top of that, he didn't play meaningful football to me. And heck,
Mhm.
didn't work out in San Francisco. And funny enough, it's the man who screwed us over in the Super Bowl. Just saying. Then we got the Desmond Ritter. I'm like, okay, trust the Ritter a little bit, you know, just a little bit. And then in that second season when he got the start, you know, he had a terrible game against the Panthers. I knew right then that brother was gone. And then Arthur Smith, let's not even get on him. Y'all hire him from Tennessee. We're not a running team. And then you know he says, "Oh, we're gonna proceed to run the ball. We're gonna have a great game plan for
Mhm.
whoever our running back is." I mean, he was happy in the press conference. Nobody else was. You got all the Blank just in there like this, you know.
That's what I'm saying. The vibes between Arthur Smith and Raheem Morris are completely different. Like,
It just makes no sense. And
yeah.
then I'm glad that he is the first black head coach in history, which goes to
Mhm.
show a lot the progression,
Yeah, for sure.
the evolution of the franchise. If Arthur
Hmm.
Blank were to take a step back, maybe we can win something. Maybe we can win something.
Hmm.
You shouldn't own Home Depot and us and the stadium and then try to make decisions.
Yeah,
That
I
that's too much.
I feel like his son is about to start being more involved though, because he was really around during draft time, and his son is like 30. So I'm like, I don't know if he how much football knowledge he has or anything like that, but well, I guess we're gonna find out soon. Arthur Blank is getting old, so it's like I guess it's gonna be like a family type of takeover, like. But as long as he's not doing nothing crazy and the prices stay the same, I'm cool.
Hey,
But no, I do. I like Arthur Blank. I just feel like Arthur, I don't think Arthur Blank is the problem as much as the hiring of Arthur Smith was. I think that hiring set this franchise back years.
yeah,
Like there was, well, honestly, the Deshaun Watson situation set us back
I'm so glad we.
years
Oh my god.
because we could have had a very smooth transition, but we were in quarterback hell for 3 years because of that Deshaun Watson, Matt Ryan situation. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize like this drought we've been in, this playoff drought we've been in, all I mean, besides like post Super Bowl, like those like 2020, 2021, 22, that's all the setback of Arthur Smith, Matt Ryan, Deshaun Watson, everything built up led to our demise. And when we drafted Drake London, Bijan Robinson, like those were like the small wins, but they didn't have a quarterback to really like allow them to fully flourish. So it's like we're all these small win pieces, but it's like this franchise is so we would have been top of the NFC South if we would have had a smooth transition
And
from Matt
they
Ryan to another quarterback.
and that's where they
That
messed up.
was
That's where they
yeah.
messed up.
Without a quarterback, you can't do anything. So it's like we over here drafting all these five offensive pieces, and then also they weren't focusing on defense. So it's like finally when we have an offense, we don't have a defense. So
Right.
that's why I'm like us going so aggressive in this year's draft to rebuild the defense. I'm like, thank God. Like that's really all we need now. If everyone does what they're supposed to do, without a doubt, we should be number one in the NFC South,
Right.
win the South. And I know the other teams are starting to make noise a little bit, but it's like I still think on paper we have the best roster. The Bucks, they're right behind though. We're like,
Trash.
I feel like people, Bucks fans, really be feeling themselves because they consistently win the NFC South. But it's like they barely win every year. It's not like other situations like the Bills where they been clinched the division, or like the Kansas City Chiefs been clinched the
Yeah.
division going into week 15. The Bucks be clinching the division because the Falcons lost in week 18, and the Saints didn't do that. So that, like, y'all be winning the division barely by half a game. So it's like I don't understand why they be having such chips on their shoulder, like they is the big brothers of the NFC South. Because it's like if you only the big brother of your division if you are sweeping everyone in your division, you winning 12 games a year. Like y'all are not the big brothers. Y'all, we damn near have the same record this year.
Right. And I'm glad you talked about winning, because boy did the draft night go good for us. I love fleecing.
Oh yeah.
I love fleecing. I love fleecing other teams, especially when it comes to the Pelicans. I mean, yo,
Mm-hmm.
JP Mars, bro, man, thank you. Because if we get AJ DeBanson next year, I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm. Or
I
even
don't
like,
think it's
just
fit.
having like just having that option, you could also do something insane trade wise for somebody. Like there's so much you can do when you're
Giannis.
a team with the top pick like that, especially if you don't need it. Like having draft capital, I feel like is so important that people don't ever really like think about. But it's like a lot of teams in the NBA are rebuilding. They're trying to get high draft picks. We just saw what Oklahoma City just did by rebuilding their franchise from the ground up. So it's like if they can win a championship rebuilding, that's how you win these days, especially because the NBA is getting younger and younger. Like the older guys are starting to fizzle out. They're not the ones winning anymore. They're not the ones getting these championships. It's these young teams, the young Celtics, the young Oklahoma City Thunder. So it's like everyone's building teams to compete with those younger guys. They're not building teams for LeBron anymore. They're
Yep.
not like, no, we got to build this super team to beat LeBron. No, they're building good basketball teams so they can compete with other good basketball teams. Like,
And then on top of that, like the new CBA and with the second apron, your super teams are done. That CBA,
oh
that
yeah,
second
it
apron,
doesn't
like
exist anymore.
it's time to go. And then OKC winning just goes further to prove that young teams is the wave. So I I
Exactly.
I, I appreciate the ownership cleaning the house, getting Landry Fields. I don't know why we hired him in the first place. I miss Travis Link so much, and
Oh yeah.
he built this team. John
Mm-hmm.
Collins, he was washed up. I get it, but and I'm glad you mentioned, with the pick and everything, how it's unprotected, one, and two,
Mm-hmm.
it's most favorable, which means we could probably get Giannis. Now, I don't know if he wants to come
Mm-hmm.
here. I'm not giving up Zachary and Jalen Johnson and Kobe
I
Buffkin.
don't want to give up. I don't see a point. Like I just said with Oklahoma City Thunder, they built that team up from the bottom up. So it's like I don't see a point in blowing your whole young squad up to get a like big star. Like yeah, whatever team Giannis goes to is going to improve significantly. It's
Right.
like at the same time, I feel like people don't realize one player is not going to win a championship. Like I just said, like people are not building teams to beat LeBron. They're building teams to beat the other good basketball teams. So it's like if we blow up our whole young squad, everyone, because right now on the Hawks, everyone really has their role. And
Hmm.
that's why we were like starting to win when we were healthy, because it was like we got our shooter. We were missing a true rebounder. We just got what Kristaps Porzingis. He's gonna be great on the floor, opening up the floor. Like so, it's like everyone has their role on the Hawks. Dyson gonna get them steals. He's gonna play defense. He's gonna lock up the other team's best offensive player, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's like Trey gonna shoot, Trey gonna pass. Everyone has their role.
Right.
Why would you blow it all up to go get somebody like Giannis, who yeah he can come here and win games and stuff, but if he can't win a championship alone in Milwaukee, why would he win one alone in
I like that. I like how you put that.
like that's what I'm saying. Like this is team back. We're playing the NBA right now is team basketball. It's not one star carrying a team anymore. It's team
Yeah.
basketball. So you have to build a team that can beat the other teams. And right now, I feel like the Hawks are literally one player in healthiness away from building a team to beat other teams. Like
And then to end it off, the East is wide open. It's wide open. Tatum
wide
gone, Hallie gone,
open.
Lillard gone. I mean, the Knicks.
Like I hate it, but
Yeah,
this is our best chance.
I've been telling people, and I said it. I can go back. Don't be surprised if we end up in the NBA Finals. Please don't be, cause I'm telling you, Trey Young got a chip on his shoulder with this
Oh
team that
yeah.
they building for him. If he win MVP, he might win a championship. Like he, like
Oh yeah.
I you know, if he wins MVP this year, just know the city of Atlanta, yeah, it's gonna be turned here. It's
Literally
gonna
what I was saying earlier, like about how people weren't really watching baseball for real till they won the World Series. Then we all let the parade like, hey, but it was like for basketball, I went to those games. I've
mm-hmm.
never seen a Hawks game like that before. People want to be fans of Atlanta sports teams, but they don't want to fully indulge themselves into a team that always disappoints. And I get it. Like can see why a lot of people in Atlanta aren't like fully putting themselves into the teams because you do, and then you end up disappointed, and now you gotta take your Tylenol. So it's like I get it, but it's like that's why I can't wait for us to be a city with winning culture because
Yes.
it's gonna be so much better. Even if we aren't winning championship after championship, it's not even about that to me. I really just want to be missing the playoffs consistently is embarrassing. Like not even getting to like we always see thank you fans and all these other teams are in the playoffs, get at least a shot to like prove something. Like,
I'm tired of
so I'm
seeing
like,
fake
it's
fans.
time for us to build a winning culture in the city. But I feel like the GMs of both teams, Falcons, the Hawks, are trying to do exactly that. So they're being aggressive, and that's what we need.
That's exactly what we need. As long as people in this city stop going to the games just to go, oh, let's go to the game. Let's pop out with an outfit. No, you better pop out
Yeah.
with your Falcons gear on and you better cheer these dudes on. Okay. There's
Yes.
a reason why we used to say defend the dome. There's a reason why we use that why we say rise up, because we
Mhm.
supposed to rise to the occasion. But that's the each his own. I feel like we gonna eventually roll with it. I
Yeah.
called you on my last video Miss Everything Atlanta sports. I don't know, I don't know how you like. I called you Miss Everything when it comes to Atlanta sports. So what what do you? And this is the last one. What do you feel like like if you had to predict anything in terms of Atlanta sports? What do you feel like is the next big thing to happen? It could be this year, next year. What do you feel like is the best big next big thing to happen?
Like for sports,
Hmm.
Um, I definitely, well, the dream for one. I know a lot of people don't watch WNBA, but I definitely, like you said, I think they can definitely make a playoff run and possibly finals and possibly championship. And I feel like that's gonna be big this fall. And then like right after that, we really getting into football for us. So I feel like my highest hopes is I don't know if it's for the Falcons or the Hawks because I have potential, like high potential for both teams. It's really just a matter of how things play out, like injuries, all that type of stuff. Because on paper, both teams can make the playoffs. So I think making the playoffs for even the Dream, miss the playoffs too, making the playoff for the Dream, the Hawks, and the Falcons is like the bare minimum bottom for what's next in Atlanta sports. Making the playoffs, even winning playoff games, I think is
Yeah,
like
that's
the I think our ceiling can even be NFC championships, WNBA finals, like Eastern Conference finals, even finals beyond that if we really lock in. But yeah, I think that's what's next for Atlanta sports. It's just rebuilding a winning culture. Cause I can even like on my videos, I can even see people like showing a different kind of excitement. Just like, because like you said, like I tell people what, not everyone's gonna go read an article and what's happening. So I like to be like the voice and like be like, yeah, we just did this, we just did that. Like we traded for him and we gave up this. Like I like to be that, especially because I went to school for journalism. Like this is what I want to do. So
insane.
whenever I like say things, like especially after this Hawks draft, I usually my Hawks content doesn't really go that crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Hawks fans have really kind of given up on the team over the years because it's a
Which
constant
is
cycle of yeah, it's that I will never switch up on. Even if we don't make playoffs this year, whatever the case, I'll never switch up. But it's like I feel like a lot of people are just really losing hope in that team. Even like the stadium, we had like the least fans all year and stuff. So it's like I like after this draft we just had and getting a new general manager and stuff, like it's bringing life back into the team. And people are like, wait, like the Hawks might do something. Like, so it's exciting to see that the teams are at least being aggressive and putting in effort and knowing that we do need to start winning
right.
or move the team to another state at that point. Like,
No,
no, not
no,
really, but that's I'm just saying, like, it gets like I worked at State Farm Arena and I honestly it was pretty sad this hot season. I've never seen it that empty, but it's like I can understand from a point of view, people don't want to go pay to go see a losing team. So
absolutely.
it's like, or they're the most mid team in the NBA for being completely honest. Like, there's
I'll say
different,
mid. I'll say mid because losing, whoo, you
no,
know,
like, there's different
Brooklyn,
reasons why.
Washington, you know.
And it's like we're watching these games, so we know the potential, but the rest of the world is not watching the games.
Hmm.
So it's like all they see is, oh, the Hawks suck. Like Trey Young still not doing nothing, like all this type of stuff. We're watching, so we know it's
Right.
stuff like Jalen Johnson being hurt. The beginning of the season, when we were like losing those games that really hurt us towards the end, when we actually finally started to like get everything together,
Mhm.
it was like everyone was there was always somebody hurt. Bogey was hurt. Then Kobe Buffkin would be hurt. Like it was just always somebody, DeAndre Hunter hurt. It's
Yep.
always somebody that would be hurt and it would mess up the entire rotation. Then we would lose. So it's like
Mhm.
it was just always something that led to another mid season for us. That's
That
why I'm
trade,
like,
that trade deadline killed me. You know, I
oh,
look
that
at
was
the end of
crazy.
the day, love you, man. Bogey, I definitely miss you. Cause we free agency started today. If we didn't get Nikhil Alexander Walker, we got issues. Okay, we
Yeah,
got
I'm wondering who we're gonna
major
get.
issues. If we didn't at least get him or Luke Kennard
Hmm.
almost shoots 50% from 3-point range. Like that's all he
That's what we
does.
need. I feel like we're missing more shooter. I think the Hawks can really build something really special just based off the fact that Trae Young is such a good passer. Everyone who he plays with, he makes better. Because every single time a player leaves the Hawks, they get significantly worse. And that's not because they're a bad player. That's because Trae Young is that good.
And they get
So it's
overpaid.
like Kevin Herter is a prime example. I tell people all the time, like he was desirable on the Hawks. Now he's just a trade asset. Like,
I mean, he thought he had a home with the Kings. He was like,
yeah.
whoa. He was like, hey, look, Sacramento, I'm down. You know, let's do this. The red
Hmm.
velvet and the purple. You know, he started hitting threes and stuff. And then he thought his way back to the bench. You know, and I was like, oh man, see, that's what happens when we get DeJounte Murray and you just become a trade asset. But Atlanta sports, we're getting back. It's like you said, we're getting back.
It's literally, I feel it in my soul. And it's like, I know I'm delusional, but like, I feel like, I don't know, something's different because we usually don't even make all these moves, pick up players. Like, even the Falcons last year trying to pick up like Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons and stuff, like, they were trying. It's just the effort. I feel like our teams usually lack effort
Yep.
or the front offices lack effort. So just seeing them trying to put in effort and being like serious as a franchise is just nice to see.
It's
Even like that Chris Stapps pickup was crazy because we didn't give up anything.
and then
Really, like
and then what's so funny too is when he had his media press conference, he mentioned the fact about no, Trey Young's our guy. We're not trading him. And then he said, we're going to be ultra aggressive. And he said it was such a, we're going to be ultra aggressive.
he's being
Less than,
serious. Like
less than 24 hours after that, the dude trades for KP. It says, yo, Terrence Mann, yo, hey, you got to go.
and we
Nie, you
still
got.
have all our young pieces. We
So I'm
didn't have to give
I'm
up.
intrigued to see what he's gonna do next. I see Hawks fans on Twitter right now. DeAndre Ayton, no, we don't need him. We already got a Kungwu, we got KP. We don't need another issue okay,
Hmm.
in Atlanta, and he a good player, number one pick. Should have took
Yeah,
Luka, but we don't need another issue. Atlanta, we're fine. We are
yeah,
growing as long as we have loyalty in this city. That is all that matters. That's all
literally,
that matters. Well, thank you
definitely.
so much for coming on and taking the time to chat it up, and talk about the heartbreaks and the pain because they're gonna get better. They're gonna get better, and I don't want to see
Definitely.
any bandwagons at these parades because you will.
Oh, there's definitely going to be bandwagons. The bandwagons really popped out during that Hawks playoff run. Not all of a sudden everybody a Hawks fan, and then when they lose, y'all disappear
Oh
again.
my god, man! What they were all out, and then we went to the Super Bowl 2017. I'm like, yo, we actually got fans? Nah, bro, nah,
No,
man. So thank you so much again, Lauren. Y'all go subscribe to her Quarters Reporter. Don't just subscribe. No, no, hold on. Reword that. Don't just watch videos, please. No, go subscribe because y'all tend to just watch videos. Go subscribe. Go actually see what you're talking about before y'all bash our teams because you do it all the time. So go watch, go subscribe, and be an avid listener, please. And thank you so much again. Like I said, if you want to have me on, I'm here. So
you definitely can. Yeah, I'm definitely finna. I have a lot of big plans this off season slash preseason slash actual season. So definitely will contact you, get something together. Of
for sure, for sure. Thank you so much.
course, thank you.